Hey, what's up, fellow post-apocalyptic survivors, and welcome to a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Apple TV series Silo. My name's Dave, and joining me because he thought this was a date is my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
Wait, it's not a date?
No, got here under false pretenses.
I mean,
Now you're here with me.
I'm literally into the fire.
Into the fire. Here to review Silo Season 2 finale, Episode 10, and like you said, into the fire. Andrew, this whole season has been building up to this moment. A lot of people, you and I were not amongst those, were complaining that certain things were moving too slow.
It was
or didn't
perfect.
have enough oomph.
Nah, it was great.
All I'm saying is, why did you feel this episode stuck the landing? Because it did.
Right, exactly. I feel like it had everything. It had the satisfaction of what we called a few episodes ago, though you hoped it wouldn't happen, but some things happened. Again, this is spoiler free, right?
Yes.
Well, look at me looking around. It just gave a lot of satisfactory endings while also opening up a lot of questions. The last 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
Oh my God.
half an hour, like excuse me.
But wait,
What's
there's
happening?
more.
Yeah,
But wait,
exactly.
there's
But
more.
exactly, right. Almost couldn't catch your breath, but I feel like things weren't forced. There were a lot of multiple side stories that also got as a successful closures, right, or opening up to the next chapter. So I'm actually very hyped for the next season. I thought it was a great episode just to wrap everything up, to conclude the story of the two silos, more or less, in a way. Conclude, but leave the room open for the future and also for the past, and finding out what happened to get us here. So I really enjoyed it. Great show, amazing, well done.
What makes this finale perfect is that, for me, is that A, it rewards your patience in ways that you didn't expect. B, for me personally, every single complaint, and I use the term very loosely, that I had was kind of answered in this episode. It was like, shut up and just wait. And even some things that I was like, there's no way you can come back from that. They found a way that I didn't think about. It was just wait, have patience, okay? Relax. Don't worry about it. And like you said, a perfect setup, again, in an unexpected way, for what's to come next. Because I didn't need to know.
No.
But they told me, I'm like, now I want to know.
I need to know.
and I, again, great, that shows great storytelling, and also the acting on display. Once again,
Top notch.
chef's kiss,
Top
top
tier.
notch. I just loved even people that you hate them because the acting is so good, and they just like, hate you so much. Great acting.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into full spoilers. Where do you want to start? I don't even know where to start.
Let's just go in order. I don't remember what happened first.
Okay. First, actually, let's talk about Silo 17.
Right, let's do the other one. Let's get them out of the way.
Yeah, before Juliet leaves, right? We can go back. We get a flashback. Through here we find out that Juliet had to go quick because the safeguard is going to happen, and I like that Solo kind of makes her realize, like, informs her, right? He remembers about it, and well, what did you think of that moment, just seeing memories and just how it was visualized, seeing his family and learning about his mom and what happened and the safeguard and all that revelation? Because for me, I think in another story that would have felt
Cheesy.
not just cheesy, but convenient.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how convenient. Now this
now,
comes out.
all of a sudden,
What?
yeah. Right.
But I think the context of that, he hasn't been to that room in a long time, right? That,
Yeah.
we've all been there where you see something, you smell something, you hear something that kind of triggers memories.
Yeah.
And for someone like him, it's the first time he's kind of realized how long he's been away. What do you think of all that setup?
As someone who I also have like situational memory, like I have specific memories at a certain place, or you go back to your childhood home and all those memories come back. So I felt that moment, and I thought it was very representative of his growth as a character. And you're right, it didn't feel like of course, let's just get him to go to his room and figure it out all of a sudden, right? It makes sense with the pacing of the story and the grief he's been overcoming and what Juliet helped him just overcome, right? So I thought that was well done. Like, damn, so if not for that, she'd have gone back and just it'll be cooked.
Right.
Oh my God. And I don't know, we're close with our guess, right? Because I didn't know it was poison, but I remember correctly, I guessed that it was going to be like they flood the whole silo with water.
Yeah. I mean, it's just flooded with something else. Just guess.
Exactly. Right. Which, so I was like, come on, Andrew. Come on, the water would damage everything. The gas would just kill the people. Come on. stay 2 steps ahead.
Come
But
on, Andrew. You should be better at genocide. What's wrong with you?
I apologize. My engineering is not up to snuff. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed the scene with Solo, and just since we're talking Solo, just the end with Juliet. When it was like,
Ah,
but you'll come back, right? I was like, no,
I love
Solo,
that.
don't. And then her response, "I'll
Nothing will
never
stop
stop
me from
trying."
trying. Oh,
I
can I
was
tell
like,
you
if I would ever cry, that's where it would be, right there.
what's great about the storytelling in this show is that when she says that, nothing will stop me from trying. We believe that,
100%,
right? Fully believe that.
100%. Yep.
She's not just it's not just saying that.
No.
And yeah, I like that kind of like full circle coming back. What I like about Juliet and Jimmy, now we
So
know his name,
Jimmy, yeah, JJ.
is that I've always complained and said in film and television, every time we see different sex characters, their relationship and bond is based on either family or or romantic love,
Mhm.
right? We never get a friendship
A good old platonic
unless they knew each
friendship.
other
Yeah.
growing up, and even then, sometimes it goes into romance. I
Mhm.
love these two together because it's one of those kind of friendship that builds beyond friendship that becomes almost like their siblings, right?
Yeah.
If you remember, Juliet had lost a brother, so it's almost like
Mhm.
not. I don't want to use the word replacement, but it's kind of filling that void.
Yeah.
And he just needs the kind of like that companionship, but not
Yeah.
necessarily romantic companionship.
Yeah.
He needs family because he lost his family,
And he's still a child mentally, even.
and I love that their dynamics because they do feel like siblings. Shit,
Yeah.
their names are Juliet and Jimmy.
Yeah, they do. And even when he came up from the water in the
Oh my
suit,
god,
her
love that.
acting, her emotions, just like I was like,
He's like, I
you
just did
guys,
it for you. I didn't want
guys are
to.
gonna make me cry.
And that's such a kid thing to do too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't disappoint her, so let me just put this on and
Yeah.
jump in the water. I mean, it's smart because
uh,
that's a great way to find out if it's got holes in it.
for
You know,
sure.
those of you who kind of mended a bike tire, that's what you do: stick in the water, see if there's any
Mhm.
holes and bubbles come out. I love that. I love that. I love this realization. You know, when I'd love to see the behind the scenes. It was like one take of him, kind of the memories, and you see his parents in front of him. I love the idea that the actors were actually there in front
Yeah,
of him, but
literally. Is
played
that
as a
what
memory.
happened? I
Yeah,
actually
and
missed that.
yeah, no, he sees his parents in front of him. As he's having a memory, we see what he
Yeah.
sees.
Oh, yeah, yeah, like a
And
superimposition.
exactly. And I love the idea that actually he had the actors in front of him. And I love
Mhm.
when he says, they're younger than me. I mean, than I am now. I got
Yeah.
so old. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
Jimmy.
it's such a crazy concept though. You
hmm
died younger than like yeah, whatever. Just I felt for him and he nailed his acting all the way.
Oh, I hope we see more of this Silo next season. And
Mhm.
here's my question with that, though, because he talks about, we get some exposition. He talks about how his parents found a way to stop the safeguards,
Safeguard.
right, from going in, and at least enough time for everyone to get out. And once again, reminder: people didn't die when they went outside.
Mhm.
They did not die, right? So he kind of reminds us of that. But he also says his parents had each had a suit. He doesn't know what happened to his mother.
Mhm.
Here's my question: do you
She's
think season 2 they're
alive.
casting some old lady actress to play the mother? Because she'd be older now. Do you think she's still alive? And she worked
Maybe
for Judicial.
because those kind of breadcrumbs in this show don't often lead to nothing, right? Like even if they find her corpse somehow, right? Like she has to somehow play into this. And I you know what? It would be sad if she never makes it back here. There's almost no way. I'm calling now. This could be season 4. I don't even care. I don't know what happens, right? But Juliet and Solo are going to see each other again, and they're both gonna find his mom.
Hmm. Oh,
Here
okay,
we go.
interesting.
This is a
Again, we know that she knew some stuff. She worked for Judicial, and
yeah. That's his mother. Yeah.
and they find out that the gas comes from level 14, where he's like, that's where she
That's the
worked.
poison. Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like maybe she could be still alive. There's something out there. Um, was it? No, she's not. She didn't ask for this. None of us did. You want to be angry? Be angry at the mother who built this place and put us in it. Not us, not her. All we're trying to do is survive.
Or
What
just
did you
like
think?
finally an adult to talk to these stupid kids. Like, shut up, Audrey. What's your name?
You want to be angry, then be angry, but be angry with each other, not at each other. Oh, that speech. We talked about Juliet being Batman,
Yeah.
right? In the sense of like she comes across like she doesn't care, she's a loner, she's frustrated. But like we said, she'll still always help. And I love how she
Yeah.
delivers the speech, right?
Yeah.
That frustrated. Her name is not Ita. She has a name, and getting frustrated and mad, but at the same time, not mad and be like, you guys. You're
Yeah.
mad, but you're still. We have to work together.
Like you said, you can't be angry at, you have to be angry with.
Love that.
Mhm.
That was such a brilliant delivery because again, I think another show. It was almost saying what we as the viewers are thinking because I think another show would have addressed Audrey differently. But I just love the how this was like, and think of the Audrey narrative with Ita would have been drawn out, where it's
Yeah.
almost like it's like I hate it, stop being stupid. This is
Yeah.
idiotic. Can we just cut this out right now? Like there's no other thing.
Dude,
But I also think it plays into as much as we hate her now, so frustrated in that moment. I'm like, here we go, Audrey. I think it just plays to the fact that she's good at acting like that dick.
yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I don't say I don't blame her because everybody, goes through grief differently, but I was just like, yeah, just shut up and calm down. Like,
Yeah, can you just
yeah,
shut
can
the
you
fuck up?
literally just take a chill pill?
Like
So I
it's
was
almost
so
like
happy Julia had that moment.
it's like when someone nags, like, "Oh, sake, we get it, get
Not
over it." Like,
again.
ugh. Like, let it go. Like, we have she even says, like, you have people, you have people with you. Now you have food, you've entered this. What the fuck do you want? Can you
And
stop?
yeah, so what was deep with that? I'm not sure about the exact splicing, but that's around when Juliet's dad on the other side.
Oh my
Though I'm
God.
jumping.
No, you're exactly right.
They did that to us because how could she be giving that speech while she's losing her dad? It's just like don't
That's
do
my
this.
dad.
And it's one of those where I'm like, is there any way he survived? Absolutely not. I mean,
Absolutely
this
not.
is actually no way whatsoever. Not even his DNA.
And let's go to silo 18, the main silo,
And
and talk about that. I love the show opens. The episode opens with Juliet's dad Pete looking at his watch, Juliet's watch ticking, ticking, ticking. And that was very like what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like setting us up for his ending.
premonition or
Yeah,
like a
exactly,
yeah.
for his ending. As soon as that timer dropped, I was like, oh, someone's going to die. And last week I'd said Hank might die, and
Yeah,
your heart stopped. But I didn't think, Dr. Nichols is also a close second for somebody who's important enough for the story for it to matter, but not so
but it
important that
hasn't been he hasn't been
Yeah,
adding intense things to the story, but he's an
yes,
important character in who he is.
yes. What do you think of
Mhm.
his sacrifice?
It was perfectly well played because I was like, "You do not take Hank. Don't do it. Like, don't do it."
And even Hank had to
Yes.
like last second get out of the way, like, oh shit.
Yeah, all right. Like Hank was close, so we're close. But I knew because I watched the recap before the episode started, and I think they showed a little bit more of his backstory, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
oh yeah.
uh, and I was well, it's like fair enough. So
Sorry, Doc.
I was prepared and ready, and the whole scene, the scene from because first of all, Martha, I don't forgive you. Let's just let's just put that
We'll
out
get into
there.
that.
We'll get there. But anyways, the scene with Martha counting down, and then Bernard freaking out, and then it getting to zero, and Bernard having the laugh, and then Bernard still
Was that it?
eh,
What was supposed to happen?
like such great acting, and then it actually happening was just it was a chef's kiss moment. Like they really like put Bernard's head in the mud, and I enjoyed it thoroughly the way it panned out. So it just helped the blow not be as painful because it's like no, but at least it was a good solid blow.
Um, what I found interesting, and I'm curious if we're going to address that in future seasons, is that what do we know? We know there's a whole bunch of silos
Hmm.
close proximity. We
Correct.
also know that Juliet and Solo felt and heard that explosion. So what about the other silos? Are they like, what the was that?
Yeah, I feel like they have to be. This is also assuming people are alive in each,
Right.
which I am. Anyways, I'm inclined to believe that.
Yes, I am too. At least one. I mean, there's 51 silos.
At least one person per side, at the very least.
All right, let's talk about Martha and the plan. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I was with you, and you know this. I've complained about Martha in the
Mhm.
past, and I was like, why can't she be like Maeve previously, where she let them know what was happening? Well, she
She
kind of
did.
did.
She
She
did.
did.
And I did say it's,
She did.
amidst my anger, I was like, I would expect a little bit of some, but I just knew that they would, I mean, come on, she had to at least be throwing gang signs.
It's
What?
actually funny thing. You said that exact term. She had to be throwing gang signs, and that's what she was doing.
Because that's what it is. That's it's Morse code.
and it's and it makes sense, the story she tells about why the signals exist, the sign language exists in the first place, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
so loud down there that you've developed sign language,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that,
Amazing reason. I love that.
right, and we're all set up to be that, Knox figured it out, but I think it's less that and more that she was telling him, yo, I'm gonna go back to that episode and see where they really doing the signs in their
Mm-hmm.
hands and things like that. And I did like how Carla was like, first of all, man, you, hope you get taken outside.
Yeah,
And
no,
afterwards, nah, I
she's
knew.
like, I knew. Like I knew. It's like, girl, yeah, you're trying to cover your bases,
Like,
huh?
oh no,
All
because you
right.
were straight up
Yeah.
like, nope, nope,
Like,
nope.
like,
I
like that
hope.
anger was real. I mean, if you knew, you'd have been like, throwing your gang signs too. Like, get away from me. I love you. No, I don't buy it, Carla. But yeah,
But I,
well played. Well played still,
but I
Samantha.
think what I like again, what this show has shown us in the past in terms of in the history of the story, the different eras of mechanicals kind of uprising has always been
Mm-hmm.
the kind of same plan of just storm the building, get to the top, open the door. Right,
Yeah.
that's always been the plan. What I like is that this sets us up as that's the plan, and then makes us realize, oh, that plan was the fake plan. It's such a great plan
Yeah.
to kind of have all the judicial go down to the lower floors and then
No.
destroy the stairs so you can't
Yeah.
get back up. But you took us up to the top. Now we're at the top. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like
genius, genius.
literally, they outplayed Bernard on so many levels. You
So
see
many
why
levels.
he just gave up. Literally just like it's like I've been outplayed, outmaneuvered, outgunned. It's just like damn. But and shout out to them again, Knox and Shirley. Them and who we should talk about soon, Lucas.
Mhm.
Rose up to be more of favorites than I expected them to be at the beginning of the
Agreed.
season.
Agreed. I think, um, especially with like Knox and Shirley, I like the fact that they kind of were set up as just, again, you even see in the poster, right? They're just set up just to fight. That's all they care about is
As
fighting,
hot heads, yeah,
hot
it's like
heads. But it's like, no, they were playing the smart game because,
mhm,
again, that's what's expected of them to be the hot
mhm.
heads. And they use that, they weaponize that, or those
Yep.
expectations, right? The, ooh, I felt sorry for those guys at the barrier with the barrels. Like, what is that? Oh,
Those
smash.
two dudes. And that's also why this show is solid. Right? There's real collateral damage. It's not
Right?
just like happy-go-lucky, everybody survives. And again, the only reason I side-eye Martha is because those first dudes that were trying to raid the room, they got whatever flambéed or imprisoned, right? So
I liked when they were getting captured, and then Patty Kennedy who get to him as well. Where he's
yeah,
like, it's a really inconvenient time right now. Maybe you should stop by where your mom's here.
Eddie, come on,
All right, let's go.
belongs in like one of those 100 shows. He gives off
Right,
that vibe.
right. I did like that. I'm jumping ahead here. Let's go to Patty. I did like, because I was pissed off when after their plan had worked and everything like that, Patty's all like, and back to my original plan, storm the door. And I'm like, oh, you idiot.
Yeah,
I was
player.
so frustrated that that was going to be like the main storyline. And I
Yeah,
love that it was shut down right away with Juliet return and just being like,
this hard.
uh, don't.
I love her run too. A little. It was very realistic.
Which
Like
I
I
like about her.
bumbling over.
What I find interesting and funny, I should say, when she initially left, there was a betting pool about whether she'd clean it or not. That's like an
Yeah.
ongoing thing, and then she didn't clean, and people were like, yeah, look, I won the bet. She didn't clean. Well, did you win the bet? Because she came back and cleaned now.
Mm.
So is there like a limitation?
I'll be like separate bets, separate odds, separate interaction,
There
man.
wasn't
I
a
don't have.
time frame. They didn't say she would clean within. They just said, was she clean?
That was so funny. That was you both win. You clean out the gambling house because both bets were successful.
Right.
Well, just so happy she wrote a note. Well, it semi stressed me. I'm sure it's fine, but I was like, I didn't see enough of the people after the note, right?
Oh,
Because I needed them to see me. I'm like, oh, okay, guys, let's stay inside.
no, you want you want to
I didn't
see
get that closure.
no, you want to see Patty realizing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, because I see Patty being like, nah, that's not even Juliet.
That's a lie.
How do
That's
you
another.
know who that is,
That's an no. Oh, that's another hologram,
right?
right? Because he's saying the image is a fake, right? That's another fake image. That's not her.
Which would be interesting. But then, that ending though, again, I'm not fully jumping because what were Juliet and Bernard just in the like in between room
Yes.
between the outside, like where
It's,
you generally get rid of dispose of trash or
well, no,
disinfect people, I
I think
assume.
that's like a, you know, when you like on spaceships where you
Yeah,
have the what's it called? Is that medical? Yeah,
decontamination.
exactly. I think that's what that is. Because if you believe the air is toxic, you have to have a part where you decontaminate, right?
Yeah.
In between, I think that's what that is. However, okay, we're going there. We'll come back to Lucas.
Mhm.
My thinking is that for sure Juliet's not dead,
Of
and
course.
maybe Bernard isn't dead. I don't think I don't want Bernard to die because I feel like killing him off like this is it's underserving the character and the actor.
Yeah.
I can see a third season where, you know, Juliet, where she says we should stop fighting each other and fight with each other. I think that's what's going to happen. It's like enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's team up against this like higher entity that has us here.
Hmm.
And we need Bernard because he knows stuff that we
He does
don't.
everything. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
like that kind of reluctant working together type thing. Like we hate him, but we have to work with him. I think that's what's going to happen. But Juliet's definitely alive because this whole season, what is it they told us? She had to go to the fire department to get her suit. It's a fire suit.
So
So I think
if anything, this suit should at least
protect her.
be able to protect her from the fire. What
Yes.
would be funny and deserving if I wrote this would be that Bernard would just get like, second degree burns on one side of himself.
Yes.
That's
And you see the last shot is Juliet jumping. Did she
yeah.
jump on top of him? Maybe some kind of protection.
Or did she jump him out of the way? Like, get him out.
No, Julia would never do that. She's the kind of person that would take her suit off to give to somebody else. Like she's that kind of selfless kind of person. But yeah, I thought that's a great kind of cliffhanger to kind of leave that aspect of the story on. But let's go back a bit. Let's go to Lucas.
Yes,
He
my man
discovers the
Lucas.
secrets. He finds out what actually happens, and it completely just changes everything. And he tells Bernard the same thing. I loved the moment. Fantastic acting just
So
as
with
Bernard
Sims.
is processing what's
Oh, with
happening.
Bernard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when he's
his
just
face.
whispering to him, he just his face changing. Great acting. Like
Mhm.
I think other actors would have oversold it. Like he gets it spot on where you understand. You can see his heart just drop,
Like,
finding
yeah.
out that nothing matters. All this shit that you've been doing to protect anything means nothing, and they can kill us at any moment. So nothing matters. What did you think of Bernard with that realization and just kind of like being like, what? F it. Here, Sims, you can be the shadow. I don't care
It's,
anymore. Here's the
it's,
code. Bye.
so I almost felt bad for Sims because it's like if are you ever trying to sneeze and then the sneeze disappears or that feeling of just not having closure.
Mhm.
Like I just felt for him because that's not how he wanted it. But then his scene with so talking about Brian, his scene with Lucas right after was also again Lucas became one of my faves.
Mhm.
Lucas was
Shoot me. I
like,
don't care. Shoot
kill
me.
me, kill my mom. Like okay, and then what? And he's just like, bro, like at least go to the room and enjoy it for a little bit.
Right?
Um, and I thought that was great. Well, I'm sure get to that as well. But then back to Bernard, just his look of dejection from that moment all the way to when he went to shoot the gun and just sit in the room. I
Right.
was like, this guy's gone, right? And at the same time, I was like, I hear you, but like, don't be so dramatic. It wasn't all for nothing. It's just more, you have a guillotine hanging over you. It's
But I
it's
think
it's a little bit different. Like I get it, but I was just like, come on, bro,
I think
hang
it
in there
plays
all the
to
way.
well, again, we've always known he's dramatic. I think it plays to the fact that
Hmm.
he put 100%, 200% confidence
In
in
the
doing the
book and the
work.
pact, and yeah,
Right?
like
He killed someone he didn't want to kill because
yeah,
everything was based on I will do this for the betterment of everyone. We've always said that Bernard wasn't necessarily acting selfishly. It wasn't
yeah,
his own personal reasons. It
no,
was in his head the greater good.
the ideals that have been instilled,
And then to have that all that pulled out from under the rug, and you
like
realize
they don't even love you.
that they don't care about you. This means nothing. And
Well, quite the opposite. Like if
right,
you guys talk too much.
right, and so it's just like, oh, that's not glowing because guess what? They don't care about you.
Mhm.
They've stopped even trying to talk to you. It's too late. It doesn't matter now. And all that kind of realization kind of falls on top of him and realize, damn, now you understand why Meadows was so the same way.
Yeah,
She's just like, why should we stick to the rules so hard? Well, you get
yeah,
all the hints she was giving the whole time. Like maybe do things differently. Why are we so stuck to the rules? Maybe it's not
yeah.
as serious as it needs to be. And we were all like, why is she so lax?
Yeah,
This is why.
and now we see exactly why, and also why she. I like understanding why she couldn't tell. Like I hate
Mhm.
when it said, "Oh, I couldn't tell you because I thought you would cry."
Right. Like even
Well, it
even
is.
in your death, you're not gonna tell me? Like, what?
Yeah, she's like, No," and it's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for not saying it."
Right. She could have
Now that
taken
we know,
everyone down
we
with her.
literally thank you because it could have slipped out as well,
Mm.
right? And it seems like that AI is all knowing because jump fast forward a bit, like WTF with the Sims family. He was like, Camille, you stay.
I
You
mean,
bald man. Like,
uh,
can come and get a break? What's his name?
Robert, I love that.
Robert.
He spent all this time trying to be the shadow, finally gets it, and the AI is like, "Yeah, not you.
Yeah,
Can
like
you stay here? No, no, not you."
can the two kids please? Can the two male kids please leave?
Uh,
But
uh,
well, I'm gonna say, what's your guess there? Is it just the AI has been watching? It's like, girl, I like your swag. I like the way you move things
well,
around.
there's a
I
line
trust you.
there's a line that Bernard says to Robert, "You were loyal
Uh-huh.
until you weren't."
Oh, good. So funny. Like what a closing line. So he likes creativity and he loves loyalty. So does the AI see that as well and be like,
And maybe like, the AI also notices when the AI watches them all, notices that, Robert's not really his own person. He's
mhm.
always trying to please
He gets
others. As tough
steered
as
by
he is,
that lady. Yeah.
right? As tough as he is, he's very one note. Everything. There's a quote that the famous quote that says, you know, if you something along the lines of, if your only solution is a hammer, everything in the world looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And that's what, and that's part of he lacks creativity, right? And I
Yeah.
think maybe the AI is just like, yeah, we can't work with him. We'd rather work with her. We like her thinking. Let's do
Just
something here. Which
uh,
I'm interested to see. I have no idea where that goes, because is she now going to be with the algorithm as some kind of antagonist to the core
yeah.
people?
Yeah.
No idea.
That's yeah.
Did you
Uh,
notice that the password to the room is the same password as Silo 70?
Really? The five
Yeah,
five two zero three
it's
nine.
exactly the same password. Makes
It's
sense. I mean, whoever created it, like, what's the point of remembering different passwords?
like yeah, literally what
51 different passwords? No.
no, it's I like touches like that because yeah, what the hell, no, we don't need extra info here.
Right, right. It's like they don't, again, when you build this, you're not building this with the intent that people are going to be going between the silos. Right. That's the point is for
And
them.
if they do, okay, like at that point, fine, you've earned the right to know the code.
Right. And for what we know, the information that can be found in one silo is the same information that found in another silo. It's nothing new. So
Mhm.
it's
And
you're not gonna
I will somehow assume, like, even with the tunnel system, the idea is kind of like, worst case, we should let people be able to move silos and still understand the layout, right?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
God forbid, one silo, everybody died, and we have another silo, we have to move people. At least they know the vault code, they know the layouts. It's all the same.
mhm, mhm. Where do you think Lucas goes from here? Because he feels like, he's someone that's so curious and digging, digging, digging. And now he seems to be like, that's it. What's the point? He even says to his mom, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
Where does he go from
I,
here?
I think team up with Juliet will reignite his loins and brain
Mhm.
very quickly. Um, and minus that, I feel like even with his newfound knowledge, he can do a lot. I'm really more curious as to, or equally curious as to how the AI and the new power dynamic is going to interact with
Mm,
these people who know too much.
sure.
Right? Because yeah, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Lucas, yeah, that's fine. Oh, Juliet's back, yeah, let's have a party. Uh, initiate safeguard
Well,
because
that's the thing.
that's what I don't get.
But we do know that Juliet knows how to stop the safeguard. So
Yeah,
that's another thing. And it
so
seems
she has
something
to
that's
not mention it, and with enough time to get. So like, I guess my thing is the if I'm assuming I wrote this AI and the AI is like, why are these people going to level 14? Hmm. Are they trying to close the gas? Hmm. So it's just a little bit like I want to see how the specifics of how they're going to combat the safeguard are going to go about because I'm just assuming the AI is not going to just sit there and be like, oh no, they're putting the cap on me.
well, I mean, what's interesting is that the AI, when talking to Camille, at first it's like everything we get from Lucas that no, they don't care, everything's shut down. But then when talking to Camille, the AI is like, oh, yes, I do want to save the silo.
Mhm.
right? It's not so it's not as done as we thought it was, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me think with the safeguards, what are the parameters for the AI? Is the AI is like, oh, give me an excuse, give me a reason to
Yeah,
destroy
yeah, right,
everything,
like
and
or is it just
or is
like
the AI like,
specific
please
condition?
don't let me kill you? I'll kill you if I have to, but really don't let me do it. I'm not
Mm.
quite sure. Like
Yeah.
ultimately, would the AI, whoever's controlling the AI, want these people to survive and will only use the safeguard as a last resort? But give me any reason to not use it, please, and I'll take it. Where do you think that kind of fits in?
I guess that'll be interesting to see it. I like that they didn't give us enough to even be able to guess one way or another.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. I feel like the fact that it chose Camille makes me trust the AI even more.
Yeah, yeah. If you
Right?
chose Bernardo, I mean, chose
Yeah,
Robert, I'll be like,
yeah. And no, even the fact that this is the first time, at least, that we've seen somebody be chosen, and
Mhm.
AI is like, yeah, no. It's just, okay, how about you just hand over the keys to the lady behind you? Yeah, thanks. Right. And let the grown ups talk. So I think that shows a level of reasoning that's more than just you're right. Kill bot. I see
Mhm.
red. If you talk, I kill you. So,
What's it called? GI robot. Is that Nazi?
exactly. For those of you who listen to our Creature Commandos reviews. So I like that at least about the AI and the reasoning capabilities. And I guess I'm just super curious as to if I don't know. I guess are we in theory crafting time now, almost? Because I'm expecting a greater interaction between the silos. That whole tunnel system. They have to shut down the safeguard and they have to somehow connect via tunnel between here and 17. Um, that's my bare minimum guess that I feel like I would love to see.
One thing I'd like to get into. Let's do some theorizing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think we know the safeguards are connected to poisonous gas. We know
Correct.
that when people go outside, they die by poison gas. We also
Yeah.
know that there's times where there is no gas outside.
Yeah.
Jimmy even reiterates this very episode that they went up there, they didn't die right away, right? So here's my theory: what if the gas that's outside
Mm-hmm.
is
Is
coming
the
from the
bus?
silos? It's the same gas. It's just that it either gets released in the silo or it gets released outside, right? And I think when Jimmy's mom stopped the safeguard, they blocked it, but it didn't last too long, and it was released outside when everyone was outside.
Blew
And
my mind because I thought it was the other way around. I was like, the poison that they're using for the safeguard is coming from outside.
now I think it's the other way
But
around.
I prefer yours because it ties in with many things,
Hmm.
and that's why it's technically safe outside.
At certain times, yeah, in general, until maybe
Yeah,
just before cleaning,
yeah,
the gas is released, right? So that there's always gas around.
that's super
And then part
interesting.
of the safeguard was that when that was shut down by Solo's parents, it didn't get released outside either. So people were able to go outside, but then we don't know why it eventually got released and they all
Yeah,
died later. So that's a food for thought. Speaking of food for
I
thought.
almost want to read the books.
All right, speaking of the books as well, that ending, it's crazy how it ends so abruptly. First, I want to ask you, how jarring did you feel when you just saw regular streets and rain?
That was some BS.
Like, wait,
And yeah,
I thought that I sound the remote,
no,
like the
even
TV channel
it's
changed.
just the sound of the rain first was already like, if you're mentally thinking about where we were, I heard
Mhm.
rain. I was like, what? And then you're right. You see the like traditional DC streets, like hell no,
And I was like,
hell.
what's
It's
going on? I was so confused.
I was like, I think especially because for me it was like, wait, is this the past? Is this now?
I
Are
thought
they
that
off
too.
planet? What
I
is
thought,
happening?
or is the silo like happening like in the middle of the like desert somewhere,
Yeah,
and
like
and
in
and this is the
Nevada,
real world exactly, and the real
Nevada,
world's
or
actually
just
still
in
fine.
DC,
I was like,
exactly.
what? This is like an experiment?
Uh,
Oh my god! But we
but
find out that
then
it was years
the
before.
past,
It's a
it was the
prequel.
past.
Yes,
We had a dirty bomb.
a dirty. Here's the thing. It's interesting with that conversation. We learn a few things in that scene, right? Obviously, things are setting up. One, he's being scanned for radiation, but
Mm-hmm.
he even says to the guard, "Does that thing ever go red?" And the guard says, "No."
Wasn't no. He said like a very no-ish thing.
Yeah, it's some
It was
kind of
like
thing like we don't expect
very
it to.
rarely.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
expect it to. So it makes me because then and during the conversation, 'cause, they mentioned about a dirty bomb, but the kind of way they talk about it, it's as if either the dirty bomb happened, which is code for a nuclear bomb, either it happened, and if it did happen, it's kind of alluded that maybe it happened in New Orleans. Either it happened and they blamed Iran for it,
Iran.
or they said something happened, but it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
Either way, there's something fishy about this nuclear bomb, and
Right.
and and she's kind of digging in to be like, it's kind of like after 9/11, they said, "Oh, we're going to display Iraq for weapons of mass destruction," but they couldn't find it. But it was a means to kind of get to send military presence there,
Yeah, of course.
right? Do you think that's what's happening? What do you read from this whole prequel
Mm,
segment? What is it trying to tell us?
Um, one that the Pez dispenser. I wonder if that. I'm guessing that's the exact one,
Oh
or
no,
or
100%.
or Pez is just has amazing marketing.
No, it's 100% the same one.
Um,
That means she was probably a resident of the silo, an original
yes,
resident.
right. And then my brain was going crazy because I was like, Juliet's grandparents, great grandparents. So great. Obviously, it's 140 years. I ran through so many iterations in my head of like, who could they be? Like,
I mean, he is an engineer. It's established.
I
So
mean,
he's
it
clearly
would be a
part of
cheeky
building
way
this.
to say, yeah, this is her forefather. And then two, you're right, because the radiation checks, the dirty bomb, the ready to blame Iran is just like I was squinting the whole time through,
Mhm.
like it's just there's something off here. But what I mean, I don't know much about bombs, but I do ish, because if there was a nuclear bomb, it does render the surface uninhabitable for
Yes,
for
for
quite
for
a
for a
while,
long time.
i.e., like centuries.
Mhm.
Which is more or less in line with this, and would just make so much sense as to why these silos exist. One per state and one for DC. Everybody from your states, take 5,000 spaces and turn into the purge to get rid of the rest. I don't know.
But
Something.
it's interesting you say that because I think this scene also gives us hints at reasons. Because again, if a nuclear bomb was to drop right now, the time it takes to build all those silos, it's not
Mhm.
very short window. That
Yeah.
that would take years to build all
Yeah.
those silos that
Yeah.
each can house 10,000 people. So it
Which means you
almost
have to
kind
be
of
ready
you have to be ready. And this scene
before.
almost tells us that, the event that caused the end of the world, so to speak, hasn't happened yet, but the dominoes have started falling.
Yeah.
Right. And so like there's a plan, there's an American plan in place with the government. They're doing something that
Yeah.
leads to the final end, but it almost assumes that at this point, the silos have already either been built or started being built.
I think
If
I
you
think under construction even
Yes.
is
Yeah.
my guess at the time, but maybe nearing the end, or
Mhm.
or
Like
maybe
the
they had
government knows.
one bunker and now they're multiplying that bunker times 50.
Mhm. Here's a little fun little notice. He mentions that he didn't uh, Google her before this meeting, but yeah, he knew what school she went to, and that peasant dispenser was of a duck, and the school she goes to, the mascot is the ducks. It's a
Wow.
nice little touch.
Wow.
And
Silo. Perfect.
I don't know if it
Full
means
circle.
anything, but he mentions that um he's the congressman for the 15th district of what's it called? I wrote it down.
Love this.
Year, damn it, 15th district of Georgia. He's a senator,
Georgia,
congressman
yeah,
of the 15th district of Georgia. But here's a fun fact for those of you who don't know American geography and politics. Georgia only has 14 districts. So I don't know what that's telling us or what that's supposed to say or anything like that. Or maybe it's giving us a timeline like it's just a few years ahead of our real time. I don't know.
maybe the silo area is the 15th district.
But yeah, I just thought that I feel like you wouldn't say that if it doesn't mean anything,
Uh-huh.
you know. And then he's also carrying a book, a pamphlet that reads "The New Normal," and it has like people in hazmat suits. I don't know if you noticed that the pamphlet that he
I
leaves
did
behind.
not.
Again, which shows you that things have already started, and maybe that
Yeah.
the somewhat. I don't want to use the term propaganda is too it's too loose of a term, but that kind of propaganda to get people like, okay, it's kind of how we, during pandemic era, everyone wear your mask up.
And it
It's
was
almost like
easy to
hazmat
get people
suits.
to wear. Yeah.
Hazmat suits, get your hazmat suit. Yeah, I'm curious to see where this is going. I could see next season. You know how this season jumped back and forth between the two silos? I could
Yeah.
see this next season jump back and forth in time,
Past and present.
past
Yeah.
and present, and really kind of seeing what happened then and happens now. And what I find interesting is that, you know, Bernard mentions that I think the events they've been in the silo for 300 and something years, and it tells you, okay, it's been about 300, 400 years between the past then and now. Is it though? How are we supposed to know it's not 2,000 years?
Yeah, I
You know,
don't
because
believe.
my brain, again, this is my brain. I've not read the books. I'm going to read book one after this because book one is seasons 1 and 2. My brain is like, whoever started the silo program, you needed AI to manage it all. And now they're all dead and the AI is just still going because it was programmed to go. And now we're like 10,000 years later doing the same thing. Like for computers programmed to do something and that thing is over. But again, kind of like GI Robot, where you're still doing the thing you're programmed to do because you know nothing
Yeah,
else. I don't know. That's kind of that's
not
my wild
interested.
theory of the day.
Like the world is fine outside. The world's like no.
Exactly.
Or even like if whoever watches Skeleton Crew, like my the last command never came in. I
That's
asked
true.
command, they didn't
Exactly.
tell me, so I'm just gonna
Exactly.
keep in this wild loop forever and just keep y'all trapped under here with the threat of poison gas because
Mhm.
that's what they told me to do.
Exactly. That's my wild out there theory. Is anything else we have not mentioned that you liked?
Surprisingly enough, I feel like we mentioned most, if not
Oh my god,
everything.
when Paddy started that kind of revolt and
Oh
then
gosh,
Billings and Knox were carried, I thought they were dying. I was like, oh shit, they're gonna
that's
kill him.
so funny. Like, I I I wasn't sure because it definitely this could easily be the start of the or is the start of the we don't agree under one leadership
Mhm.
rule anymore, right? You're gonna
Mhm.
have your different sects. We rule by power now. So Patty worries me because he's a loose cannon. I feel like he's been messed with. He's seen one thing, then he's seen another thing. Now he's seen Juliet cleaning, and he's just like, you know what, yo, I might go outside. Just be like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm curious to see how they interact with Juliet being back because we've seen this before. Like, hey, Juliet's back. It doesn't mean Juliet come and be our leader. It's
Mhm.
just like Juliet's back now. Let me keep pushing my agenda. All right. So it's not going to be smooth sailing for them back in this silo.
And the whole point of the Juliet's back part of it, a huge part of that was she's still alive because outside is safe.
Yeah.
So her coming back and saying no, it's not safe, kind of takes away
Like
the meaning
you
of
left
what
and came back. There's like no it.
she's a mole. She's with them. They got to her. She's lying
Or,
to us. See,
or if anything, right? I guess I'm trying to see like from his angle. Like, fine, okay, wait, you went and came back. How with this suit? Okay, let's divert all energy to
if you can do it,
making
I
better
can do it.
suits. Yeah, like okay, suits for everybody now. Now, mechanical, sweet. So like, it's definitely going to open up all the possibilities within and outside the silo. And I think, like I said, we're going to start to see different sects and groups. And I just wonder how it's all going to lead to them connecting to Silo 17 because they have to. Please, please, we have to see Solo again. And I guess some wrong things. I pinch myself as I do with my wife. Nobody died like I thought.
Oh,
None of
Julia's
the
dead.
and I mean, like I thought, like yeah, him, yes, but like I thought
But yeah,
one of them is
less
Silo
people than I
17.
realized.
Yeah, I thought Nox surely one of these people. Like I thought there were a few people on the chopping block. But as far as we know, even Bernard survived.
Hmm.
I'm sure he did. He didn't. He doesn't die off screen. But no way.
I like when Shirley goes up to Lucas to be like, "Yo, you kicked
Mhm.
my guy in the nuts. What's up with that? Tell me what happened." And he's just like, in my mind, he said to her, "It doesn't matter." But in my
Mhm.
head, it was the rock star. Doesn't
That's
matter what you.
bit
Sorry, I was just
dramatic.
in my head, I hope there was one take where he did it like that. The fun as a blooper.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter
Doesn't
what you.
matter. Uh,
I felt bad for that one guard when Bernard shoots the gun and everyone's leaving, and he's like, "No, not you. You stay."
yeah, I was like,
He's like, "Me? What did I do?"
why me?
And ultimately, like, it's just I'm just gonna sit here, watch you, because he does nothing.
That's
Oh,
a
fun
great,
fact.
great
This is
show.
not a good episode. I was
Ooh,
reading an
more fun
interview
facts.
with the creator, and we recently found out a couple months ago that this show is greenlit for seasons 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
But he says, actually, we had that green light like week 1, season 1. He's like, it was so well received. He said they weren't allowed to make it public, but he had a conversation with Apple, and Apple were like, listen, we're gonna let you finish the show. Don't worry about it. So he's known from years.
Uh-huh.
They've already almost finished shooting season 3, and they're done with the scripts for season 4 because 'cause they've known for years where they're going, and which is always great
I'm
to hear because
sorry.
you can see the way this show plays out, you can see they know where they're going, which allows them to be
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna take our time with this."
Yes. And
Though there was
reveal
talk, I
properly.
appreciate it. He says there was talk to have Juliet at Silo 17 for 2 seasons, but they decided, "No, that's too much."
You'd
I
have
was
been
like,
pissed.
"Thank you." As much as
That's
I
it.
like it, in hindsight, I do appreciate I don't mind the split of this season. It was frustrating to see Juliet separate, and I think at first I didn't like it because I think there was a huge disparity between my interest in Juliet's character and the other character, the other silo of the main silo. But I think taking her away from it allowed them to step up. Like you said,
Yeah.
characters like Knox, Shirley, Lucas. I think Juliet being there would overshadow them. So I think in
Yeah.
hindsight, it's better. What do you think of your final
I,
thoughts of this ending?
the funny thing is, I'm so happy she came back, but like, I don't know that I'd have minded if she kind of now got a little time to stay in the other silo, kind of maybe train Eater a little bit to kind of be a little bit more
Her
independent and
name
like,
is Hope, God damn it.
and oops, and train Hope up, and then also like interact with Solo and make it a little bit more grounded. I feel like the issue is, yes, it would have just become a little bit lopsided in interest because I'd have probably reached the end of my interest level in our silo. Like, okay, revolution's done.
Mhm.
What else is going on here? So I think they paced it right. Um, and the whole dynamic of what is the power struggle going to be in 18 is what's in my head. I'm
Mm.
almost convinced that she's getting back to 17. The tunnel system or whatever.
Mm.
They have to figure that out.
I thought she was
But
going to use it this episode.
yeah,
I really
that's
thought.
remember you did say say
No,
that,
but
but I think
there was even a scene where he's like, "Let me show you something. Come," and then trying to find the safeguard stuff. I thought it was gonna be like, "And there's a secret tunnel you can use,"
yeah.
kind of thing like that.
Like what's behind this painting?
You're
Oh
right.
my gosh. So yeah, again, just in final thoughts, there weren't many cliche or like figurable out moments. Is that a word? Like I knew Bernard was one that opened the door,
Mhm.
obviously. But
I thought she
everything
was
felt
going to.
realistic.
Sorry to cut you off. I thought when she was using that crowbar, I thought she was gonna rip her suit by accident.
I don't know. You don't understand. I was especially because
I
I'm
was like,
so
"Be
paranoid when
careful."
like people like cut towards themselves and knives
Yeah.
like that. I literally saw it being like rip the suit, bleed, like break her mask.
And then just
Just
gas
had
comes in
like
like,
30
"No," and
seconds.
that's the
Yeah.
cliffhanger.
So I'm happy she made it in all the way. Even her interaction with Bernard, because I agree with you. I feel like once they get through and survive, she's gonna be like, guys, you can't kill Bernard. Like we have bigger problems, and like her issue is gonna be trying to convince them all that they all need to work together and use their brains. Whereas they're all gonna be like, we're trying to eat Bernard. Like what do you mean? So that's gonna be interesting. And just to just close the wild guesses, I still feel like they have to show me more silos now. It,
Mm.
the fact that there are two that we've seen and there are 51, I need more. Like even if you just show me the ones that nobody made it, which I don't think there are any. I feel like we need to get a little bit of a connection to more silos. And I hope they can weave that in a nice way where it's like they connect, but like I don't mind some silos that are not connected to these ones, even if it's just to kind of paint some color. But I don't know how that will be woven in, but I trust them.
Um,
Yeah,
I find it interesting that there's 51 silos because if to me that tells me there's like either there's like a silo prime
a
or central silo,
district of silo.
right? Like
You see,
this was the core. You know, if all the algorithms is just one algorithm, this the
yeah.
central hub is at the
That's why I thought in my brain I felt like there was one silo and then they copied it for 50,
yeah
right?
exactly
Or
exactly
something like that, or
yeah. It's
that's
like
where
this was
the
the beta.
supervisor lives.
Yeah. And also, again, final. We have 3 final notes in this episode.
Final thoughts. Final.
It's like the episode more surprises.
Mm.
Something to think about, right? In terms of if in real life you had this kind of situation with Dirty Bomb and silos created, stories and sci-fi stories always tell us that most part it will be like the rich and important people are going to get access to those silos, right? And so I think it's interesting if you look at the larger narrative of Silo being kind of a social commentary of social
Mhm.
disparities. it's almost like everybody rich and famous, successful was put into the silo. Like everyone in the silo, no
Oh
matter
yeah.
if you're from up top or down bottom, your ancestor was someone
Uh,
rich, famous, or
yeah,
something.
wealthy for them
You were
to be able
all
to get
uppers.
there. Yeah.
And when things got reset, things changed. But it used to be all uppers. Then, in terms of, again, I don't know how these decisions were made. I'm making a lot of
Yeah.
assumptions because it could have been, oh, we just got different people, all walks of life. But I like to think they're not that smart.
Maybe, but like
It would be all the rich people and
there's
the
always the classism exists in society, and it's just like
exactly. Right,
sure.
right. So it's, I just like the idea of like, hey, but I was rich. How come I'm the one that has to clean up down deep
Yeah.
now? Like that argument. Again, there's so many places we can go. We can get the beginnings, silo beginnings. It could be a spin-off show, how it all started.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, what do you nerdies think of this season finale? What do you think? What are your expectations going forward, knowing that this show will get a chance to finish and actually have 2 more seasons?
Woohoo.
Those of you who read the books, what do you think of the differences between season 1 and books 1 and 2? Are there some things that you prefer, or are there some things that you thought weren't done as well? Let us know. Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch. You can also give us recommendations for stuff to watch. You can find us on email, thenerdybunchpodcast@gmail.com. Check out some of our other shows that we're doing. We just started doing Severance Season 2. Episode 1 podcast is out now. We also have Dune Prophecy, which we finished. We have Skeleton
Finally.
Crew, which we finished.
Finally.
Creature Commandos, which we finished.
Finally.
And we have more to come, including some movies. We're going to do more movies this year. So keep it locked on the Nerdy Bunch for all of those podcasts. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name's English Dave, and this has been Nerdy Bunch season finale for Silo Season 2. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.